I'm personally really happy that I've checked out of the MCU such a long time ago because I already knew, I saw the writing on the wall, what's going to be happening with the MCU. Once phase four hit and we saw just how downhill things were going, I just couldn't help but just check myself out of it. And I know a lot of people felt the same exact way because we saw what happened during phase four of the MCU. Obviously, you had the big high at the end of phase three with Endgame, and then all of a sudden, everything tanked from there, and the entire MCU just went into a trash heap. Now we are starting to realize that it's not going to get any better. I mean, I already knew that, but I think collectively as a whole, for people, I think people are realizing that it's not going to get any better because now we got some more information about the upcoming Fantastic Four film that apparently is going to change the characters to make them more politically charged and to center around gender politics and masculinity as a whole. Because, yes, that's exactly what you want from your MCU film. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Part Plays. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it and like the video so it pushes out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, I remember covering Fantastic Four when it was first released, or first showcased, I should say, when this picture was going crazy online. And the first thing I thought was, there's definitely going to be something gender oriented here. And I know it sounds crazy, but the reason why I thought that is because of the color palette, right? You have the trans colors, the bisexual lighting, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, it's more trans colors than anything because it has the literal trans colors on there. But I thought it was going to be something that was going to be focused on modern day politics. And that's just because the MCU as a whole has been doing that for a while now. And now we pretty much have confirmation that they're going to be changing the characters. I don't understand this obsessive nature of wanting to take what people like and then changing it for whatever, modernity. Like, I don't understand. This has proven to be not something that works for the longest time now. It's one thing if you want to make your own character and start fresh from there, but it's another thing if you take established characters and change what they were to try to push whatever modern day nonsense you want to push with it. It almost never works that way. But again, people are going to do what they want to do because it's the MCU, man. This is what they do. And this is why I tell people whenever they say, hey, man, you going to watch this movie? And I'm like, dude, I told you, I am checked out of Disney. I am checked out completely because every time as I'm doing my news and I'm looking through articles and I'm looking through what's happening for the day and I see something MCU related, it's always stupid. It's always freaking stupid. Even Deadpool and Wolverine, I said that movie was going to be utilized to subsidize nonsense like this. That's why they do movies like that. It's a free, easy win for them. They know what people want and they know when to give people what they want, but they're too busy filling in the rest of the time with nonsense that people don't want. But in any case, the MCU's Fantastic Four will see major politically charged changes to Marvel's classic characters created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1961. I still think the Fantastic Four will do well because I think the name is going to carry it for the most part. And I think people are curious to see what this new entry of the Fantastic Four would be like. Fantastic Four has always been a loved franchise for the most part. I don't know if this is going to do $1 billion. I highly doubt it. This will probably do mid to semi-high hundreds of millions of dollars. Maybe $500-600 million, something like that. But I don't think this movie's going to bomb necessarily. I just don't know if it's going to do over $1 billion, especially now that people are realizing what it's going to be about. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is rolling the dice again with Fantastic Four First Steps, the 37th entry in the franchise, and it might be its most ideologically loaded to date. Director Matt Shakman and stars Pedro Pascal, and of course, anything with Pedro Pascal is going to have some sort of nonsense in it. Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ibn Mal's Bacrock are aiming for a retro-futuristic take on Marvel's first family, but the glossy visuals cannot hide a major shift in character dynamics and storytelling focus. The film represents significant Fantastic Four MCU changes that will see a wild departure from classic depictions that have become so well known in the world of Marvel Comics. While set in an alternate 1960s-inspired universe, First Steps isn't just aiming for a period flair, it's clearly designed to reframe the Fantastic Four through a very modern lens, because that's exactly what we want, right? We want a Fantastic Four through the eyes of modernity. That's exactly what we need as MCU fans, right? And I'm not even saying I'm an MCU fan. Again, I want to be very clear. This is what I imagine people who are still fans of the MCU are telling themselves. They're like, yep, this is what we want. Bro, what are we doing? So let's start with the most egregious probably, which is going to be Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Actor Joseph Quinn has already openly questioned whether the classic version of the character, the brash woman-chasing hotshot that Chris Evans brought to live action in the 2000 film, still belongs on screen today. He was branded as this womanizing, devil-may-care guy, but is that sexy these days, Quinn-ass? I don't think so. This version of Johnny's less callous with other people's feelings, and hopefully there's a self-awareness about what's driving that attention-seeking behavior. So we're going to have a very caring Johnny. Like, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have the Johnny that cares about your feelings to make sure that you're not offended. Yeah, that's the kind of Johnny that we're going to have. Sounds really exciting. Can't wait to check that out. Quinn's Johnny is now defined less by fire and flare and more by introspection and social calibration. The old swashbuckling charm has been swapped for sensitivity, yet another of the notable Fantastic Four MCU changes fans may not have expected or wanted. Yes, we want a sensitive Johnny. Give us a very in tune with his feelings Johnny. That's what we all need. Then there's Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, portrayed as both pregnant and politically powerful. The head of the Future Foundation and architect of global peace, Kirby describes Sue not as a superhero, but as a commentary on modern motherhood and womanhood. One of the things I love the most from Sue's history is when she becomes Malice and all her dark stuff comes out. Kirby said, proving that while she might share a name with FF co-creator Jack Kirby, she doesn't have a healthy respect for his work. I was obsessed with that chapter of her life, so I wanted to make sure that there were tones of malice in there with her, that she wasn't just a stereotype of a goody sweet mother. It's always been really interested in the mess of femininity, and how can you be both? How can you be all the things? Not just a tough, invincible, powerful woman, but also a mother who gives birth, which is itself a superhero act. The implication is clear. The Sue of old isn't acceptable anymore. Today, she must embody everything at once. A maternal figure, a political leader, a complex emotional being, and an empowered icon. This is one of the clearest Fantastic Four political MCU changes defining the team's new modern audience direction. Again, guys, I mean, at this point, as we continue to read through these changes to these characters, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's only going to get worse. You know what I mean? Like, it's only going to get worse. When it comes to these characters, they're going to be utilized as a weapon. You know, that they're going to be utilized in the same manner that a lot of the characters in the MCU have been utilized lately for the past few phases, which is basically, hey, we have an agenda we want to push. We have a message we want to push. Who can we utilize and change in order to make it seem as if we are putting out that message? That's basically it, man. They don't care about the source material. They never did. And if they're openly advocating for changing the source material and telling you, hey, we're going to do XYZ, something different with these characters, and you're going to totally love it because it has to do with femininity and empowerment and feminism and all this stuff. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, who? That's clearly going to connect really well with your actual audience. Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal, is reimagined not only as the MCU's smartest man, but as a utopian visionary building a new society alongside Sue. Director Shackman describes them as a couple constructing a better world. If he is the most scientifically intelligent person, then she is the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet, he said. Between the two of them, they're building an idealistic society. The idealism replaces the fantastical adventures of the original comics with what amounts to ideological world building. Even Kirby acknowledges the balancing act of rewriting a 1960s character for a 2020 audience. If you played an exact 60s Sue today, everyone would think she was a bit of a doormat, she said. So figuring out how to capture the essence of what she represented to each generation, where the gender politics were different, and embody that today was one of the greatest joys of this. Why would they think she's a doormat? I don't understand this kind of line of thinking. Because she would be old school feministic. Like, it doesn't make any sense, man. These people, I swear to God, they want women to act like men, and they complain when they have to deal with the same ramifications than men have to deal with. The Fantastic Four once stood for discovery, bravery, and family bonds. Now they stand for carefully curated messages about emotional literacy, social progress, and global unity. I don't know, guys. This sounds like exactly what Fantastic Four fans seem to want, in my opinion. I can't wait to see you guys talk about this as the movie releases. Again, I don't know if the movie's going to necessarily bomb, because I just think that the name is going to carry itself through, and I think the curiosity is going to kill the cat in this scenario. But if you are expecting anything other than, gender politics and modern day ideology and all kinds of messaging in this film, then I think you will be sorely disappointed. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.